I'm Diane Butler. I'm the director of the Binghamton University Art Museum, and we're here to welcome people who can't come. We've been open to the campus community this last year while much of America has been on shutdown or at least closed behind doors, and we've worked very hard to open our doors to students, faculty, and staff here at Binghamton University. Well, we've been in a special situation. A number of academic museums across the country have just shut their doors. Because we have a robust permanent collection, we've been able to install exhibitions from our permanent collection of over 4,000 objects. What we have on view right now really shows the hard work of our new curator, Claire Kovacs. She joined us in the fall of 2019. And poor Claire, she'd been on the job 6 months and then here came COVID. So she remained busy, and we have exhibitions on our mezzanine level, our main gallery, that reflect her hand. But then what she's done with our interns, our curatorial interns in our lower galleries, shepherding them through each of their 4 exhibitions.
Hi, welcome to the main gallery of the Binghamton University Art Museum. I'm Claire Kovacs, our curator of collections and exhibitions, and we're going to take a look at the Ralph Gibson Portfolios exhibition, which highlights a number of portfolios by the photographer Ralph Gibson that are in our collections. Where we're going to start is actually our chiaroscuro collection. This is a recent gift from Brian Bennett, and these are examples of works that are part of his chiaroscuro portfolio, as I mentioned. And Ralph Gibson is probably best known for his photo books. And so what that means is that he didn't think about photographs as individual works of art, but rather saw them working cohesively together as one portfolio. And so here we have a number of examples from the chiaroscuro portfolio. He started this work in the 70s with a work called Somnambulist, and this is a structure of photography that he's been working on since that time. So we're really excited to be able to highlight chiaroscuro, which is our largest collection of his portfolios, as well as a number of other portfolios in our collection by Gibson. So we're going to move on to his selected images portfolio, and from that I want us to focus in on this untitled Histoire de France. What I really love about this work is how Gibson is capturing the spaces between these two figures. So we have this beautiful edge of a car on the left-hand part of the composition, and we have a figure ostensibly walking in the rain on the right-hand side. And what I love the most is this gray tonality in between the two. So he's done a really great job in capturing the depth of tone from the blackest blacks to the whitest whites, and we can really see that in this work. So we are now in the 1960s, 1970s Now exhibition. Again, this is an exhibition that is pulling completely from the Binghamton University Art Museum's collections. And this exhibition focuses on works in our collection from the 1960s and 1970s, but also connects those to this contemporary moment. So either in terms of the artistic practice or in terms of the subject matter that we see in them. So I'm going to bring you through a couple of my favorite works that are part of this exhibition. So we'll start here with these two works. This is a work by Richard Yard, and so some of you who may have been at our Not But Nothing Other exhibition last fall, this may seem familiar to you because it was in that exhibition, but what I love is putting it in dialogue with this work by Philip Guston. And I love the bright lights, the bright colors in these compositions, and how they don't upstage one or the other, but instead they are really in an interesting formal dialogue between each other. And I think that it's two works that really pull you up into this mezzanine gallery. So now we're going to take a look at a couple of works by an artist by the name of Ben Jonson. I'm really excited to include these works in our exhibition because his story is one that we recently brought to light with a little bit of research. And I'm excited to say that Ben Jonson is an artist who we have 5 works of his in our collection, but we didn't know much about him or his work before I started doing work on this exhibition. And as a result of this exhibition, I've been able to speak with various family members of Mr. Jonson's. He's no longer alive, but I've been able to chat with his children and learn a little bit more about his career, and I'm excited to see where this goes. But I'm also just really excited to have these two works in our exhibition here, because I think that they speak to two important themes in the 1960s and 1970s, and also echo into this moment. In this work here, Slave and Save, we see a mother grieving. We don't know why, but we can make some guesses about why she's grieving. And then in this work here, this thought-provoking piece, it's called And Justice for All, where Johnson is making a commentary on the rate at which African Americans are incarcerated here in the United States. And so as I mentioned, I'm really excited to bring these pieces to light and to use this exhibition as a catalyst to keep engaging conversation on the artist and his work. So now I want to talk a little bit about Mae Stevens' living room. This is a really important foundational work in her larger series called Big Daddy. This is one of 3 works that she created in the late 60s, in which she is grappling with her relationship to her father and her father's relationship to themes of toxic masculinity and white supremacy. And so these are very important foundational works, and we're lucky to have one of these in our collection. It's a beautiful work and is a foundation to her later practice. So this is a work by Angelo Apolito, one of our former faculty members. It's called Endless Landscape, and I really think this is an important work to have in our collections, not just because it's a unique work within his own body of work, but I think it's a really interesting way to bridge the gap between painting and sculpture. So what he's doing here in Endless Landscape, this is a work that was created in the late 60s that was based off of time that he spent in the Midwest looking out at an endless landscape. And so what he's done in this sculpture is he's actually inverted it so that the viewer actually walks around this sculpture and gets to look in on a landscape instead of looking out on it. Now we've landed in the lower galleries, which focus on student-conceived exhibitions. These are again all works from our permanent collection, but we work with student intern curators who completely conceptualize an exhibition from start to finish over the course of a semester, and it's on view for the following semester. So our student internship program is something that builds off of our curatorial program that's been happening for the last couple of years. This is a collaboration with the Fleischman Center, where we're bringing students who are not just curatorial interns, but also collections management interns, engagement interns, social media, videography, graphic design, all together in a class where they learn more about the history of museums, careers in museums, and also talk to each other about the projects that they're working on. It's a really exciting opportunity for students to think about different careers in museums. So thanks again for joining me on this tour of our 6 gallery spaces of the Binghamton University Art Museum, and we look forward to inviting you back in the fall of 2021.
When one of our alumni donate works of art to the permanent collection, that work of art may appear in an exhibition they never could have envisioned. And that is exciting for undergraduates who are curating those exhibitions to envision using objects in new ways and juxtapose different objects in novel ways. So that's really part of the dynamic element of having an academic museum, and something that we really strive to continue here at the Binghamton University Art Museum.